conscious mind was controlling everything about our choice and feeling and the body itself, I just thought that if I receive information, I could just reproduce it unconsciously myself, and then I wouldn't know if it's a creation from my mind or if it's really happening to me.
This is not the podcast. This is a master class to see it until you understand it.
This podcast tries to make closer to the people what is consciousness. We are here to manifest, and sometimes we forget and we get into the books and to the knowledge without living what we are here for.
We thought that we are the knowledge, but the experience is everything, because we are just channel or presence of God in a form. We are not really the personality or what we expect to. I mean, we play with it. We play with the hairs. We play with the moment, with the relationship we choose to involve in, and all of this is just experience. But the real experience is just to feel life and let life pass through us.
Hello, we are here, Divine. We are very blessed from here in this podcast called the Círculo to have you. It's really an honor and a bless. It has been some days waiting to have this moment, and I just would like to let people know more who you are. Sylvie is the founder of Yoga Sangha, and he's a real yoga master. I've known her for several years, and I never stopped to surprise about how she is, what she's doing. I think that it's an opportunity for people to get more close to know what is the divine service. Your life is really an example of service and consciousness, and what express what the human being, the potential of a human being to enlighten consciousness in humanity. So thank you, Sylvie, to open this time to share this, your divine life, the experience of your life, sharing consciousness.
It's such a pleasure and a bliss shared to be with you, both gentlemen. As you said, Jordi and I will know each other since 17 years right now, so it's a long journey to see somebody progress and process and grow, and this is how we can really recognize who are the people that surround us. If we can see them in time, we can really see them not just in a high peak moment, but as well in challenges, in the real journey that is life. And I think that as you spoke about being in service, living our life actually is a service to humanity. Just processing what is to be alive and to get more wisdom and especially learn to love, which is the greatest purpose that we have to surrender. So if we can say that I have mastered something, is only the understanding that love is everything.
Wow. I may ask you, how did you start this journey? How did you start to believe in yourself? Okay, I'm going to go this direction because I feel inside me that is my place. When did it start, or how did it start, or maybe something happened in the meaning, you know? And they say, "Oh, wow, okay, now I see."
I will say that since very, very young, around like 6 or 7, my body was moving in such a way that I didn't understand myself exactly what was happening. My head would be going behind my head, and I was doing like really strange move and posture without knowing what was happening because I was not in gymnastic or ballet or so many kind of physical activities that could have taught me how to understand that body at that moment. And then I remember myself asking my cousin and few people of my surrounding, are you doing the same things? Just because I was just asking myself, what does that body is doing? What are those movements that happen? Do I'm normal? Like, kind of. And then I remember my cousin saying to me like, no, I'm not doing that at all. But like feeling like I was strange. And then I just hidden a little bit of this from my surrounding because I felt that I was maybe not normal or strange because my body was moving by itself actually. And I could notice it. I was conscious of it. And yeah, it was very like, I wasn't anxious about that. I was just like trying to understand. And it's like, I think that it's exactly the same when people can hear voices or have like clairvoyance skills. As for them, it's normal. You won't think that others won't have the same experience as soon as you ask. And if the others do not confirm the same, you feel strange. So at that moment, I just began to just say so much about that because I was just trying to figure it out what to do with this. And then when I came to 13 years old, I just began to hear some voices, especially just one voice. And that voice was just confirming in myself that everything was right. So I just felt that I was in some way myself or just unique in some way, but not unique as I would be the only one unique. I just accept that was me this way. But I wasn't so much expressing that to so many people around.
Wow.
Since the moment that 13 years old age happened as a teenager, when at that moment I was clearly understanding that I could confirm through myself what was right or who I was, because I couldn't have agreement from the outside or just I couldn't meet like a comparison or confirmation from the outside. So I just begin to ask myself, oh, I feel it, and then I recognize that voice, like the voice to hear. I would say it this way. And then at 15, I just began to tell that voice, ask question to that voice. And then I just recognized that was inside of me, the Lord. I was just asking, hey, Lord, could you tell me this? Or just asking. And then I just began to have that connection to my inner through that, let's say, surrendering of what was happening.
Wow, that's impressive. Wow.
I wouldn't say wow at the beginning. I would have said, what is this? But since
Did you ask to the voice, who are you? What's your name? Where you come from? How you are connected with me? You know, all these questions that is maybe, or maybe I'm crazy, maybe I listen myself in my subconsciousness.
As I said, as that voice at that moment wasn't so clear, I thought that it was just my inner connecting to myself, or just my truth, let's say, or my uniqueness.
Wow.
And because of that, I just had no reference to just confirm the question I would have loved to ask to somebody else. So then I began to develop a really deep connection to that voice, which was my inner, let's say. So that voice at that moment didn't have another color of mine, or I just thought that I was speaking to myself and developing a highest consciousness about listening to my feeling and my understanding of the moment. And then after that, as I said, when I was 13, I just begun to just believe that I could go deeper and deeper somewhere and ask somewhere higher than myself. But still, there wasn't any color of the voice instead of what I could hear. But at 15, then it changed because the voice began different. I could say that the voice was a male voice, or a voice that was so clear, a voice that was so humble, so pure, so blissful. I could not say that I never had heard that kind of voice before. That moment was a really, really important moment of my path, of understanding that there was something higher to reach or to connect with. And at that time, at 15, I said to, let's say, that voice or God in myself, because at that moment I began to call that voice Lord, because I didn't have any other word to say, to call that feeling of something greater than myself, that was just supporting myself when I was asking. Because now my question was more like, what's the meaning of life? What is my purpose in life? What is consciousness? At that moment, I was quite like a teenager, quite young, and I was reading Freud and Socrates and, the great philosopher, because I was thirsty to understand, who I was and what I was doing here on Earth. And then those readings just confirmed to me that nothing will be said to me through an intellectual point of view. And then all those books was just make me feel like that something was missing. So that's why I just closed the books, and there was so many books. My mother was even asking me, Sylvie, you should be like other teenager around. You should be playing with your friends, and you should be just doing something else instead of reading those books. And because I was sitting in my garden at all summer long, the books was almost taller than me, sitting in a little chair.
You want to know
I didn't
everything.
notice it because exactly. And then, but my man was just like, maybe it won't be good for your development. You have also emotional development, something more than just an intellectual life. But I said to my mom, until I know what I'm doing here, I will be doing that. I absolutely said that because there's no point I'm doing anything here if I don't know why I'm here.
That's impressive. You should say this before I start, because now I have the 50 questions to do it. You will not talk. That's impressive.
Okay, so that's it.
That's it? No, that's it. No, you start. You start.
Actually, I love that you talk, because it's another perspective. Because knowing her, I just want to go to where I know from her, and you open a space for the things that I don't know. So wow. Yeah. Talking about books, I remember that you went to India, and they give a book to you that was waiting for you.
The first time I went to India, I was 23, and I had this voice. But at that moment, at that time of my life, the voice was clearer, and I could distinguish that it wasn't my voice, but a highest voice. Because the color of the voice, because the wisdom of the voice, all of this wasn't coming from things I knew. And that voice said to me, you're waited in India in 6 months, and the best will be to arrive on March 7th. And then I didn't have any money for that kind of trip. I never have been to India before. My parents never traveled before that time, and didn't show me anything special about Asia, but the voice was so clear that I organized that trip. I went there, and really an impressive spiritual journey began at that time. I've been almost 6 months by myself, backpacking all alone, and I went to the mountain. And in that moment, I felt sick. I felt really, really sick, like for like 24 hours. It wasn't long, but this fever and that process that my body has passed through has just told me something like, nothing is wrong. Don't be stressed with the adjustment happening. Just surrender. So I let pass through that fever, and then at that time, a really awakening process began into my mind, into my body, reconnecting with my soul. And then it's true, as you heard, Jordi, maybe a long time ago. It seems that I haven't talked about it so long to you, but I got a connection with a master that has, at that time it was in 1999, but this master has passed away in 1987. So it was that since a while, but I just begun to receive like a teaching from the mind, let's say. So that came from a book, as you asked, Jordi. The book has been like in a really, really special way given to me. That book was in French, which was 25 years ago in India, which was really like special, let's say. And then from the book, the master just began to spoke to me directly, which was not through the words of the book itself, but the book has been used to create the connection. And then I received my first really spiritual teaching from that master that is called Swami Muktananda.
Wow.
And then in this trip, you got initiated. You were in the mountains.
I would say I was initiated by Shiva. It's very, 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 very special to say that today, because I think that I would have never said that in this way in the past, especially because I felt so strange, and I felt so I felt that I didn't have the tools and the skills to understand exactly what was happening to me at that moment. But what happened is that my body changed of form. Not like physically, but let's say etherically. And I recognized myself as a form that I didn't know what was, and that I never experimented before, like being a swan, for example, or being a cobra. I began different form. For me, that studied yoga now since more than 30 years, it looks like natural to say that for yogi. But as I was 23 years old, practicing meditation by myself, movement by myself, this kind of really conscious process, but all alone. When I arrived in India after 3 weeks, when this kind of awakening and manifestation came through the inner sight, I didn't absolutely know what was it, and I wasn't informed at all that what it was. But the reason why I was a little bit more explicit or talkative about my early age is because, first, Rudy, you asked, but it's because I, at that 15 years old moment, I said to God, don't tell me anything, or don't show me any reading of anything before I have experimented it. Otherwise, I will doubt of you.
Oh, that's amazing. So you want to experience the life for yourself, not from outside yourself, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
Because as I have studied with Jung and Freud and all the psychologists of the last century, that the unconscious mind was controlling everything about our choice and feeling and the body itself, I just thought that if I receive information, I could just reproduce it unconsciously myself. And then I wouldn't know if it's a creation from my mind or if it's really happening to me.
Yes, we are here to manifest who we are through action, through experience, through life. And sometimes we forget and we get into the books and to the knowledge without living what we are here for.
We thought that we are the knowledge, but the experience is everything, because we are just channel or presence of God in a form. We are not really the personality or what we expect to. I mean, we play with it. We play with the hairs. We play with the moment, with the relationship we choose to involve in, and all of this is just experience. But the real experience is to be, just to feel life and let life pass through us.
Wow. You know,
This was something that I was these days.
You too.
Sorry,
Yes.
these days we were talking about that because this podcast tries to make closer to the people what is consciousness, the experience of the things that we don't see, but that they are very real.
The
And-
invisible life.
Yes. So but at the same time, I was telling Rudy, sometimes we don't have to. It's not necessary to try to understand. Just surrender to what it is, to the grace of existence.
This is the best way to adjust, because actually everything is there, and we all have the skills, the ability to reconnect our brain, our cells, and our souls together. The thing is that because of the perception that we have that there's an outside world and there's an inner world, we divide ourselves, and we keep on the track that of the duality, and that keeps us like disconnected to the oneness behind everything. But as soon as you just not attach your attention just to your thought, emotion, or body, everything comes together, and now there's a new reality that is reachable. Some old master call it the Akashic memories, or the oneness, or the one, or the intelligence, or the source, or whatever you call it. Is just the simultaneous speech of the essence of the Shakti, or the vibration behind everything. But we cannot listen to the vibration through the thought or through the senses. We have to allow this to be, but then our attention will be just in everything at the same time. But to be able to reach that, we have to surrender, because putting our attention on something we don't know is a frame. And mostly we don't see what to reach, what to connect with. And there's only one way to reach that state of connection, is to relax. And that's why yoga and all the physical activities like yoga, tai chi, or martial art, or whatever activities you do physically with consciousness and sensitivity, will bring you to that sensation of clarity. Because as soon as the mind reconnect with the body, we know that. But then, as soon as they reconnect, the only way to reconnect that is to connect with the soul, because then you access to a language that is higher of the sensation and higher of the brain waves. Brain waves are really slow. Consciousness can go at speed at light level, multi-dimensional level, more than light level, because what we consider like light is only a form, still a form of the expression of the essence. I think the closest reality or yeah, let's say the closest reality you can look or put your attention on to reach the essence of God, of whatever you call it, is to the void. And the void then make you reach the space. And the space contain everything. And the space has this language that create everything. So we understood space through time as humankind. But we know in quantum physics now that there's no time and there's no space. There's just a time space.
Yes.
And this time space is always speaking through presence.
It's funny. This is a huge coincidence or something like that. Our first talk, that was in the restaurant, we were talking about this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what? Also, I said to him, I love this idea about physics. That when they talk about physics, we are talking about time, space. And we're talking about mind, metaphysics. We are talking about space, time. So, the mind goes over the time, but not the space. And the body goes into the space to move the time. So I saw this in a book, and I love it because it was a clear differentiation. And then we start talking about that. I don't know if you remember that we start talking about that, and you are saying this. For me, it's like amazing, because when I started the podcast, I want to do it for the people to be consciousness about the lifestyle and to be more present, but suddenly the podcast is becoming more than this, too much more than this. It's like it's a clear awakening for me. I don't know for the rest, but for me.
Yes, now we have somebody that realizes a higher state of consciousness, and it's time to get to know what this can be and how this happens, how this happened in her life. You were going to make a question.
For a question, I have a list. It's like amazing because the thing that happened to you have. First of all, this voice is connected to you all the time, or you decide?
We are connected to everything all the time.
And you listen him interfere in you, or you ask him? Because you said that it's a male, right? A male voice.
It's a perception of something, but that thing is hybrid. That thing is let's say hermaphrodite, or because in the highest consciousness we are either not just male or female. We are both principle in action, and we use the form in that third dimension or that physical reality to be perceived. But when you go beyond the perception of the senses and the mind, you don't see anymore the duality. You see the one in everything. So I would find really unfair, or sorry for my English that is limited. I will think that it should be more clear to say that this presence is more than a voice, and I can hear it in the way I allow myself to perceive it. Otherwise, I will hear everything as intelligence in everything. So I know that when I was 15 years old, I would say it's a male voice, or I could distinguish in this way something different than myself, like this. But now I wouldn't say that the presence I heard at that time was male or female. This is like, I know it's metaphysic maybe. If you talk to a master, if you talk to a realized master through your brain, through your mind, you will receive it and you will feel still a personality. You will feel a color, you will feel a gender, like Muktananda. If I connect to Muktananda right now, I will imagine him through his form, and then I can hear it as a male. But if I contact like an Ascensionate master, let's talk about Thoth, let's talk about Christ or Mother Mary, or it at that point you can be attached to the form and believe that it can be more male or female. It's just like wisdom. And I prefer to open your understanding of the one, like it is not just a character to reach. Otherwise, you won't reach anything. Because it's the space you create in yourself. Remember, we talk about creating space, because in space there's everything. But if you're not the space yourself, you won't connect to the space. You will connect through your personality, your attachment to be a male or female, and then you will connect through other vibrations that are at the same level of understanding reality. But as soon as you represent yourself as a whole presence, then really much higher presence will be there. And those presence won't be feel like being above you or asking you to surrender to something that they are. No. At that frequency, everything is just one. And you feel the one fulfilled by the presence. But I won't say I'm not the master. I will say I'm the master. That means, which means it's not a negative process of feeling that we have achieved something. It's just like, if I understand that God is in everything, I am Babaji, I am Mataji, I am the Christ, I am Mother Mary. We are, because they rise in such a way that we are always blessed by their presence. So I can say I'm Mother Mary. I can say you are Mother Mary, even if, I mean, it's a conception of a character. It's at some point, everything is just a principle and an expression of the one.
At one point, I was for a while like asking Lord to let me serve Him, serve the consciousness, and what happened is that having this prayer, it brings me to her. So I went to a teacher training in New York, Dharma Mitra teacher training, for some beautiful coincidences, and I went to see her in the studio. When I see Sylvie, it was like, I have a feeling of a really strong connection, and I was like very impressed for her presence. And I have to tell you that when we were in the training, she was like half of the time or more just in the back in meditation. So his natural state is being in meditation, connecting with herself, receiving teachings from other masters, far away from this sala. So she's in a process of internal growth, connection, and she's guided for them. She received the teachings. They tell her to serve what has to be done for the progress, not only for for her progress, but for the progress of humanity. The masters give her projects and things that has to be done, adjust in the earth and in the humanity. At one point I tell her, who are you? Where did you came from? What's your name? And she just closed the eyes, breathe, and tell me, next year we are going to be in the Himalayas, in a cave, with a fire.
That was the first time you met her, right?
Yes. First day, actually.
The first day,
First
the first
conversation,
time, first conversation.
20 seconds. And next year we were there. I was, at that time I was doing an MBA. I didn't have the time to go for 1 month to the Himalayas. But that happened. So she's connected with the masters and guide her. So the question is, how do you live your life? Because I know that masters really make you difficult processes, because you have your own family, your own life, and how that mix with the questions and requirements of the masters, and what is the level of surrender to follow that path for you in your life?
100% surrender.
Wow.
Infinite % surrender.
Yeah, because otherwise, anyway, I don't feel right. The only way I feel really good is when I'm aligned. So, and as soon as I judge or compare, because it still happens, that I lose the connection. Like I would say, I say losing. We never lose anything. It's just that there's sometimes I feel in my cells, in my body, a little bit of stress, and I had to distinguish where come from that stress. Is this mine? Is this yours? Is this ours? And now I understand that this stress is ours. And since I'm 23, you know that Jordi, I had the call to give birth to my daughter. I have 2 kids. Alice is born in 1999. I'm almost 50 now.
Wow.
And yeah.
You doesn't look like this. Maybe the meditation keep you like this, younger always.
Yeah. And yeah, what can you do with the connection to the light, and especially the sun, that we haven't talked about? That I think when Jordi is asking what are you living your real life, your day-to-day life? I mean, I had the call to be a mom when I was 23. So, and I didn't really thought that I would be like a mom before that. I never thought if I will have kids, but that the call was really really strong from an angel that came and appeared to me. The only time I really have seen an angel, like seeing, hearing, feeling, all of this my whole life. But seeing an angel just one time, to tell me that my daughter will born. I'm not telling you that I'm the Mother Mary or such a kind of ascensioned master seeing like angel. I'm just telling you what I experienced when I was 23 in India. That was one part of the journey. And then I was surprised because I didn't know if I was ready to be a mom, if I wanted to be a mom, but the call was clear. You'll be a mom. And then I just accept. And then at that time, I just begun my service because being a simple girl of 23 years old, or a young woman, let's say young woman, having a kid really young, 25 years old ago, people was not having kids at such a young age anymore. People were waiting, so I was alone still with the kids. And my boyfriend of the moment, which is still the father of my kids, and which is still in my life, like my partner, 29 years together, 29 years. Could you imagine what kind of of process and every challenge we pass through? Because everyone is different in the way of perceiving reality. So because of that, that kids came and I has taught me to live my life is in service. Because when you are a parent, you know what it is to deserve to serve and to express and share love, and eventually unconditional love, because it's part of your flesh, it's part of yourself, it's part of, I mean, you can just love your kids. So naturally it has asked me to serve at a really young age, and being in service for my daughter, for my family, and being just a simple example of an ordinary person. As nobody is an ordinary person. We are not ordinary. We are extraordinary. But at the same time, just being able to live a simple life with all this inside has requested to me a lot, because even if I felt different or strange when I was young, getting more and more inside and having this kind of duty that Jordi is talking about, going in the Himalaya for 16 days with a group of people, creating a fire in the eternal snow, and on that journey doing fast when you don't eat for days, fasting for days. I was fasting for days in the Himalaya, and the people would tell me, like, it could be dangerous, but to tell you, my body didn't need it to eat at all. I spent 5 days in the snow, complete snow. Jordi maybe would remember, we were in sleeping bags in our single tent all together as a group, having like those bottles of warm water between our feet because it was so cold outside. Then the only way to heat our body would be to heat and to create the digestive process to heat ourselves. But actually, even if it would have been logical for me to sustain my body this way, I didn't have any call to heat at all. So I was for 5 days without heating in that snow. So my body has processed different kind of experiment to show me that the body responds to consciousness. And when consciousness is ready, body become ready. And when body is ready, then the mind absorb new kind of understanding of our possibility. So in my day-to-day life, I'm a vegetarian person. I'm still eating, really not so much, but still, because I like to enjoy and share with the people I'm surrounded by. And also because life is to enjoy. So as much as I can just live that life like simply and with people, I do. That's why I'm the owner of my own, let's say, mission. I'm not the only one now sustaining Yoga Sangha in Montreal, because Yoga Sangha form 500 teachers per year, which is quite a lot, because it's these people, we have to support them, to be present for them, to manage them. And then there's the school. So I never expand the center yet, because the mission was for me more important than just a business model of growing, you know. We support a humanitarian program in our school. We have 15 places around east side of Canada where we give free yoga class, 15 places like schools, old people, residents, jail, different kind of places like this, 15 at the moment, where we provide like consistent yoga and breathing and meditation class for free. And then when I need to leave, I'm free to do so. So there's people that manage the center now for me, but I'm still let's say, in the conventional terms, the CEO of Yoga Sangha in Montreal. But when I have to leave, I must leave. Like this year, we had to be in January in Hawaii, or at some point in my life, I has to be in Israel at another moment in England. So it depends. My whole life has been in travel. I've been 8 times in India, more than 2 years there, because I was requested to open and close different vortex. Let's call it this way. In India, we call it Dharma Pita, which is places where the rising of the Mother Earth energy is higher than in other points. And when you place your body in those specific places, you have a better alignment with cosmic and telluric vibration, and then it awakens the body vibration. It elevates the body vibration. So I'm mainly now feeling concerned about teaching that through meditation, of course, because it's the only way. If you don't create space, again, same things, you cannot allow the highest frequency to get in. If you're too stressed, if your nervous system is too to charge, the nerve will burn, and the highest frequency cannot be received. So the whole process, my whole journey was to refine that body to be able to receive higher frequency, and then use light and sound to heal, to connect, to be.
So you make a biological preparation, right?
Yeah, it's all about changing the vibration of the body.
So when you
it's the enlightening process. Enlightening process is not just something like mystical or metaphysical. The enlightenment process is physical. It is fully physical. It needs the help of the pineal gland, the pituitary gland, to reconnect all together to create new chemical in your body, and this chemical will flow through the cerebrospinal liquid around the brain, all over the spinal cord, and this is really a physical process. You need that, and if it's not physical, it's not real. So the enlightenment is a physical process. It's electrification of the cells.
When we went to the Himalayas, we got into the cave of Milarepa, and Sylvie received a kind of an initiation there. One of the persons, we were 3 in the cave, and when I went out for the preparation to the people coming, when she got out with the other person has the eyes closed because of the power of the energy of the process of Sylvie. So it was completely burned.
What?
Yes, it is a very powerful process in the body.
Okay, I want to know
and
how
the energy
to do
around.
Is there is any tip?
But that's why she has been fasting there. She was fasting, but she was running in the. So we were in the top of
receiving energy.
It's
right?
close to 7,000 meters of altitude, and she was running in the stones going up to the mountains. It's so light.
How the energy comes? It's like from the sun, from the.
Ask her.
I mean, I have 3 questions. First is, you're talking about special places on the earth. It's like the chakras of the earth. That places are public?
Those places are public, absolutely. Yeah.
Wow. So may I know how to see them or how to know about them? those places, or it's not good to make it public in a podcast because everybody will go there? And,
actually,
and
maybe it's a good moment to say something. She's in contact with some masters. One of them is one that we are very connected, is Babaji, and she's
Babaji,
received
the one of the book.
Yes, the one of the book. She received instructions to create a portal in Costa Rica, and now it's time to get some funds to build the sangha there, and it's a new portal for a new consciousness. So if there is somebody that hears this podcast and wants to make support to the consciousness and this process,
this special place, right?
The special place has to be built, and if somebody received this information, please contact Sylvie through the Yoga Sangha, because it's time to do that. So the masters with Sylvie are moving this project. So. And some portals have to be closed, others have to be open, and Sylvie has an important activity in this process.
Wow.
I didn't know that you will have you will like to talk about it. It's great that you open the door. The thing is that since the last century, new temples are getting are being opened on Earth. We talked in the past of cathedrals or old monument temples, pyramids that has been built on Earth has served the descending
yes
of cosmic frequency on Earth to awaken humanity in the process of being one altogether. And these temples and old cathedrals was created around a different kind of vortex or vibration, and we called this vortex the 8 rays vortex. So the number 8 as represent infinite and different kind of understanding for humanity, but most of it was a way to reconnect or circuit and or chakras of whatever you call it, different part of ourselves altogether. So these 8 rays temples or cathedrals or a monument has helped the humanity to reach self-realization. But now we have new temples on Earth that are getting to be built, and it's already happening. There's places that vortex that are already open that express 12 rays of light, and these 12 rays carried the possibility for humanity to ascensionate. And if you study yoga or spiritual development or tradition, there's different initiation that are experiment, because this light or those frequencies that get higher and higher, and your body and mind has to process, bring you to achieve an understanding of yourself. That's why we call one moment of the initiation the self-realization, realizing who we are, which is accessible to everyone. We just have to realize our potential, the highest vibration that we can carry as a human being. And then, since that vibration is managed and constant, you can add more rays of light, more highest frequencies in your magnetic field that allows you to expand in a new way. And we will call that moment of initiation the ascensionate process. And that's why when you talk to me about male or female master that reach me or you or whoever around, it can be your grandfather that has passed away and just share to you is bliss and peace. After that, we all receive information that we cannot understand and process. but more you can process, more you can receive. So these rays are now accessible on Earth to humankind more than ever.
Also, I'm thinking that
this is what is happening in Costa Rica.
Oh,
this
yes,
is what is happening in
Rica.
Costa Rica.
Also, I'm thinking that maybe when you were 15, if I'm not wrong, that you listen this male voice, maybe it was male for you to be understand that it's not yours. Maybe it was the reason when we put the masculine voice, you know, you say, this is not you. I'm talking from outside. When you understand that it's you, you will understand that it's not female, male, or whatever, right? Maybe that.
You got it.
That's good.
You got it.
This is impressive, because if you are creating this and we are creating some kind of the same thing, maybe this is the reason why I understand this podcast is rocketing, because it's clear, amazing. And to be clear, for me, I never heard about what is channeling before this podcast. I mean, and it's starting a lot from 3 months, 4 months ago. And the funny thing is, when I was very young teenager, my mom is a Reiki healer or energy healer or whatever you want to call it, and she said, I feel that you have some kind of something inside. I want to bring you with a friend that I have, and I want to test you. Just talk with her. And I remember that I was talking to her, and she said, oh, okay, let's try something. And she said, okay, take a seat, close your eyes. Now you are going out of your body. And I said, what? Yes, you're going out. Where are you? Here. What do you listen? The lift. And my mom said, which lift? The elevator? You're not listening? And she say, no, you're not listening, the girl and the mom. And say, no. What do you listen? I listen a girl and the mom talking. And what you see? When she said, what you see? I saw a girl with the mom like this. And I said, I see this girl with the mom. I said, yeah, my neighbors. I said, what? Okay, hold on a second. Let's try another thing. Close your eyes, put the mom, and say, okay, give me your hand. So it was like this. The girl was like this, okay? Taking my hand. And she said, close your eyes. Close your eyes. Okay, and move the hand. You know where is your hand? And he said, yes, this is the heart, right? And she said, yes. Okay, up to you. And I start moving the hand like this. And I said, and the girl was saying, what do you feel? Nothing. Move, move, move. I think there is something here. Where are you? In the knee. What do you feel? I think that my mom has something here. And my mom said, I don't have anything. And I said, oh, okay. I don't detect anything. 1 week later, my mom has a knee problem for 5 years. And it's lasting until today. And this was 30 years ago. And it was like crazy, because I did like kind of 8 or 7 more experiments, and I did all of them. Talking to spirits, saw a spirit, go outside the body, and said, and the guy was saying, I don't know anything else. I said, okay, but for me it was just a moment. But now, 30 years later, without doing this for 30 years, just my brain was here in the matrix and trying to be rich and so forth, I'm realizing that it was just trying to discover what is to be human. Because I did plenty of things in my life. And when he wants to interview me, and always I do that, you know, when I have the microphone, I talk too much. But when I met you, you share us a lot of good energy. I don't know how to say it. It's getting us a lot of emotions to us. At least to me. I'm completely sure that for you. But because you met her a long time and is a friend. But you are sharing this energy. And I don't know how this works. Maybe because you're talking in a relaxed way. This happened to me when I met the first time Jordi. And I say all the time, you emit, transmit peace. And I'm the opposite. It's like the yin yang, you know. I'm the pam 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 pam, and he like relax, and then the other way around. And he like, but you're like the same. So this is a learning process, or is because you are so aligned with yourself?
I let you answer.
I think that it's a learning process. Because if we arrive here without knowledge, we need to learn everything. But if we are here without knowledge but with the connection, we don't need to learn anything, just receiving. So depending the way we think. Because I'm an inventor, but 3-4 podcasts ago they said, you are not an inventor, you are a channeling. And he said, what? I was working a lot for that. No, you're not an inventor, you're a channeler. A channeler is the name, is channel. And
I prefer to use, instead of channeling, I prefer to use the term being in coherence.
Oh, nice word. We use it in our book. So go ahead.
Because otherwise you think that what you will get is coming from the outside. But actually it's coming from every direction at the same time.
Nice. So the question to me is, when you call the voice Lord...
I have something to ask you.
Yes.
My dear friends. The AirPods has stopped. So does the sound is still okay for the recording?
Yes.
I'm just
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Because now I'm hearing you from the computer.
Oh.
It's okay.
Yes. Amazing.
Yes.
Okay.
And now it's working.
I'm sorry.
It's amazing.
I just want that we won't be surprised that it's different now.
Oh, no, it's perfect. Also, it's extraordinary because we were trying this for 45 minutes. And so, going back to the temple that you want to do in Costa Rica, this you received it long time ago or just was recent?
Since ever I knew that moment.
What? I didn't understand.
But if you want an answer that your mind can understand,
Yeah.
In that time space, I heard the call that told me that the moment was clearly arrived, like 2 years from now.
2 years, right?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, not. Yeah, 2 years, almost 2 years from now.
It's
So I went to that place, exact place. Has been called, and the vortex has been opened.
You know that we are doing a database of this gift. We had 313 people already subscribe in a month. almost all of them started around 2020, 2021. With this connection.
Maybe I have a question.
Yeah.
For many people get to know these days, we have been passing through a change of era, going to the era of Aquarius, and this. So we have been in a period very transcendental. We entered into the era of Aquarius, and that it's related with the corona. We passed through the coronavirus. The Aquarius, it's related to unity, it's related to freedom, to transcendence. So we have been, everybody connected with now opening, close, masks, vasks, what we have to do. We have been restricted in our freedom, so now we want more freedom. How do you see this process and where we are going? If it's going to be a new era with new opportunities of consciousness, how are you experiencing in yourself, and how do you feel that humanity is going to experience this period?
For me, there's only one reality, it's the now. So projecting ourselves in such kind of a future will be just a disconnection to what is really possible to us. This is why I'm not really so much involved in predicting anything, even if there's a lot of probability. You know, there's a lot of timeline that are more present and can be feel than others. But for me, I prefer to put my attention on being present, because if I'm present, everyone that are surrounding me or even everything around will be more in connection. So it's really rare. And even going back in past, you know, as Rudy has asked, I played the game to just go in the past, but it's really not something I do often, because I think it's a loss of energy.
She's not talking about...
But sometimes it helps. It helps to figure who is there, what are we talking about, and it helps to connect. But
she's not talking about going in the past in the last week.
More your question in a down-to-earth way. I will say that we haven't finished to contract collectively. We haven't finished yet. And in a way, the universe is this way that it contract and expand. The universe itself is breathing. So our humanity is doing the same. And depending all constellation, we are moving through into our sky and having more or less influence. Of course, we are always receiving new information from the universe surrounding us. We are connected to the intelligence. The thing is that we are not able to get the information. So as much as we will be present, as much information we will get. So it's true that everything is always growing. The universe is a creation. So we are always changing and moving forward. So that's why I will be always a believer in humanity, and I will always carry a great sense of esperanza in Spanish, you said?
Yes.
Yeah, because everything is there. It's up to you. It's up to me. It's up to us to decide what we want to create all together. And that opportunity to reach highest state of consciousness, I've been there 5,000 years ago, 10,000 years ago, 50,000 years ago, 100 years ago. There was other civilization before ours. The thing is that we have to ask ourselves the question, what kind of experiments we want to have here all together? Because everything is possible. And it's not just to say that it's going to be this now. It can be everything now. You can still feel that the fish era or the Aries era or all the whole master from the past are still present and living their life with us here in full connection and fully present to share. Or you feel that it's the past and it's not the same anymore. No, it's the same anymore. It's always the same. Things doesn't really change. They appear different. So it appears now that since we have lived that pandemic, that moment of contraction, we have to understand our reality in a different way. If I'm really, really down to earth, I will say that there's still duality on earth. There's still different experience to do, and then there will still have darkness on that plan of existence for a while here, even if our planet is getting or reaching another level of vibration, because our sun is now experimenting a lot more explosion than never before. The NASA, all the scientists actually that observe in a cosmic realm what is happening over our sun actually are amazed, because they said that we never have observed as much activity from our sun than now. So we believe that this is us that control the atmosphere and allow now UV and ozone and all that stuff to create bad condition for life. But actually we are not in control. The sun is in control, and the sun is communicating with the consciousness of our planet, the energy of our planet, in such a way that gravity and magnetic field are talking together and getting a new way to express what is life here on Earth. And it's true that in a mindful point of view, we will have more skills, ability to understand what is happening, because we will have technology. But the technology and even the cosmic information accessible from our from science now will never bring us as far as consciousness can bring us. So even if we don't think about influences around, we just have to think about developing ourselves. We have to develop ourselves. We have to put all our energy to understand what it is to be a human being. What is it to understand the functioning of the brain? What are our tools to reach the knowledge that will put ourselves in a position to understand our own power? Because we don't know yet how much powerful we are, but this power has been used in bad ways. In right now, we just have to think about the Gaza Strip, actually, which is an amazing moment of contraction in Middle East, actually, and it's not the end; it's just the beginning. And because of that, we know that what is going to happen to humanity will ask us to get more involved in our own development. But unfortunately, the humankind don't put themselves on the edge of change until it's absolutely needed or they are forced. So otherwise we live unconsciously. We sleep alive. So when arch things happen, we begin really present, because we tend to feel that maybe our survival state will be affected, and to get out of that survival state, we have to be challenged. So the challenge are not finished, but at the same time, the expansion of the consciousness, the possibility for our mastery is more than ever on the table. There's so many masters ready to teach. There's so many presence that are there supporting our process, and that's why I'm believing in us. I'm believing in me. I'm believing in you. I'm believing in us. That's why I'm still teaching. Otherwise, I would be like relaxing. It's not so. I'm still helping myself all the time to relax as much as possible. Being in charge of my family, in my business, in my let's call it whatever seems like usual. But more than everything, we are here to process and grow spiritually. But we cannot grow spiritually if we cannot honor our body. The next level for humanity will be to understand the DNA and to understand the part of the DNA that has no genetical codes. Since we just realized what is the genome recently, and the biogenome as well in the intestine and around the heart and in different part of our brain and organs, we are just reaching a new understanding of the body. We are not really understanding its full intelligence, and I think that will be the main discovery of the next centuries and more. It's going to be to understand the technology, the highest technology that the brain is. But since we are still amazed by the external technology, we are not taking really good care about understanding the power that we have inside. We are more than computer. We are multidimensional presence. So this is what is coming for humanity. If you want that we talk about the quality of our blood, to understand our red cells, our white cells, the DNA and the part that has no code yet, we will have to talk about space again. Because if we are afraid about ourselves, that means that we are afraid about what is unknown, about what contains the space, the universe in reality. But to really understand that, we have to pass through our body. The secret is hidden in our genetics, but not in the genetics that has been confié, borrowed to us for a while. We have to go where there's no code yet, where there's only space. And in that place, we connect with the genius, the intelligence with a big high. So this is the real next level development where we have to be now. We have to totally concentrate our attention to the potential of the DNA that do not have any code yet. And this is the freedom. This is where we will find our freedom and our unlimited power. So I could talk about war. I could talk about the graphene in our blood. I could talk about the impact of the vaccine. I could talk about so many things. But I think that this is not really like what we should put our attention right now. We should put really our attention on our human potential.
Talking about this potential and this power, I've seen you as an example of what is the higher potential of the human being, and isn't a potential that we all have. I've seen you like healing people, adjusting women that can't have kids, and in 5 minutes make that change that now they can have a kid. I have seen you going to the past lives Uh, I've seen the connection with the grace to find solutions that we never can imagine. How people can develop this potential, and how is for you living, having awakened this potential?
Hopefully, there's a shortcut.
Wow, I want to know it.
Let's talk about the real thing.
The hack.
The hackers, he's
And
a
this
hacker.
shortcut
Mine.
is love.
The love that we know, or the love that is harmony?
Love, I hope that I have heard you properly because of that technological issue we have. Actually, love is multidimensional because what we call love in our human understanding is an emotional state of connection with others, which is already something great. The thing is that at the highest level of understanding, love is cohesion. Love is coherence. And in that state, everything happens simultaneously. Intelligence is there, ready to be received. Genius happen. The only things that remain is choice. What choice do you want to make? Meaning, what do you want to offer of yourself? So for me, for example, I felt that I had to wait my whole life the right time for a different purpose of my soul. That's why I was waiting for many, even if I had requests for different things, things happen at the right moment, because we have a certain amount of time here as we decide to come, and then the energy must be present for what has to be achieved. So, of course, if you reach the sun, you have unlimited energy and power all the time. But there's places where we can act, and there's things that has to be done. So, as you know, I'm not just surrendering my whole will. I'm surrendering the free will of the universe, let's say, and the great order or the dharmic order, whatever you call it. When you listen it, it's like you cannot be away from the law of nature, and you cannot be away from the law of universe. So loving others, loving yourself, being in love with life. I'm always saying to the people I give teaching in the classes I offer, just try to do one thing: honor, accept, and celebrate. Or accept, honor, and celebrate. I used to say it in French. So accept, honor, and celebrate all the time. And if you accept, honor, and celebrate all the time, then you are in connection with what is needed. This is not just you that will feel like, oh, I should, or maybe if it will be, or if I will, or I can. No, you don't have to think about what if. We just have to allow life to be expressed through us, and the only thing to do that is to love. And in the day to day is as simple as being present for your colleague at work, even if you are not in the same understanding of a situation, or you take time to express with great care your thought. All of this that we express like love, but I think that is everything, because this heart connects the brain with the power of the physical body. This heart, this emotional state of just receiving and giving the presence is the hotspot where to be. Instead to be lost in the mind, or just in the excessive action that will just bring you to do too much, or sometimes not enough. When you love, people receive you naturally better, and you receive other better. Instead to react, you can respond. All this stuff about psychological understanding of unity that yoga teach will appear you clearly, like the one solution for our humanity. And then I will finish maybe saying that there's different kind of love. There's human kind of love. In the human kind of love, you learn how to love. And then you decide, you try to love more. And then you realize if you love more others, you forget yourself. And then you begin to love more yourself. And then you become egocentric. And then you forget others. And then you're unbalanced. So this is us all the time. When we are in duality, this is human kind of love. And so that's why I'm always saying, even if I teach you yoga, even if we do posture, even if I did that for 30 years, putting my head behind my hands, putting my hands on the ground, doing this lift of my legs, all this stuff. This is great because it's playful. But the real stuff is just accepting what it is and just play with the body, play with the mind, play with others, just play with life, with that rainy day and whatever. If I can love everything as it is, now I get above human understanding of love. I instead of just learning to love more, I will begin to love better. And if you learn to love better, everything become important. There's not this more, which is more important than that. Everything is important. This moment to listen, this moment to act, this moment to sleep, this moment to eat, everything, to brush my teeth. Every moment is an important moment. And then when you learn to love better, you begin to love everything at the same with the same importance. And then you begin to understand which is divine love. Above human love, you have divine love. And the beginning frequency of or understanding of divine love is compassion. And compassion that we heard so much about the Buddha teaching and all the great master teaching means just, it's a beautiful word, but it's more than that. Compassion is that everything has an equal importance. And if I do not compare, I'm now out of duality. And every moment will be considered with great care. Every being that will cross your life will be considered with great care. Every thought you will produce, every word you will express will be considered with great care. Every action, and sometimes action will mean non-action, which means apparently doing nothing, but being more receptive. So all of this is part of the understanding of love, because if you really love, you will be attentive. And if you are attentive, you're receptive. And when you're receptive, you now channel, as you said before, or you will be more in coherence, as I prefer to say, with what it is. So this compassion is so simple, but if you really, really like, just focus on one thing all the time, which is really great because our attention wants to know in the future what is going to happen, what conjunction is in the sky, or who's gonna like us or to manage that technology. Or yes, but this is just things that will pass. What will remain is our ability to be in connection. And we can just be in connection when we are receptive. And the only way to be receptive, as it disconnect all the time, is to ask ourselves, may I express compassion right now to myself, to others, to the world? And then you get out of judgment, and then you get out of duality. And then that divine state of reception, continuous connection, fulfill yourself from a way that there's no interruption. There's one thing. And then peace happens. It looks like a concept. But if we create peace in ourselves, we will create peace on earth. But there's no way to create peace if we are not receptive. First, we begin to be receptive to others because we want to be loved. And if we are enough receptive, we believe that others will appreciate us more. But finally, we lost ourselves in that kind of relationship. And then we realize that we are not happy, we are stressed, and we are kept in with no freedom. Because more we succeed, more we understand the magnetic field of life or force, and we understand how to manifest abundance, manifest love, manifest opportunity. It's not hard to manifest. The only way to manifest is to listen to ourselves, really, because from the inner we really know where we have to be, what we have to do. The only thing is that we are not receptive. So we fight against that connection. So things doesn't seem to happen. It's because we are not aligned. More we love ourselves, more we love others, more we are just allowing life to be. Suddenly there's simplicity, there's relaxation. And then we can expect that there's nowhere to go. I can come back in that reality again and again. I can be somewhere else as well. It's just a choice then. So what do you want to serve?
Coño. I have a little, how do you say?
Leap.
Yeah. With my mind.
Great leap.
And now I understand why you want to talk to her. It's a challenge for us to. This is not the podcast. This is a master class to see it until you understand it. Because if you're listening social media, you are not present. So all the technology surround us is helping us, but is, how do you say? Separating us from us. Because we are using technology. Well, now we are using technology for talking, and it's amazing, and for having this podcast, you know.
I send you that idea that we are still using technology. Everything is perfect.
It's perfect. But now the technology is becoming an addiction to separate us from the real world, right? And we are seeing a lot of information, but this information is not meaningful. This information is just to be with someone state of the mind, in not be with your state of the mind. Because seeing a lot of video and not practicing what you're seeing in the videos doesn't make sense. It's like you're seeing a yoga in the TV and you're not moving. Or it's like having a meditation space and you are thinking what you had to do tomorrow. You know, this kind of challenge is when we talk in the early beginning, the space-time and time-space. The mind is difficult to be in your body. It's difficult to be in the present for the mind, because the mind is running all the time. It's running for the future, running for the past, running for whatever it is running. It's always running, but the body is saying, what the hell are you doing? Come here, give me attention. I need you. If you're not giving attention, okay, you will see it. You know, it's giving you disease, it's giving you whatever, because you're not giving attention to yourself, right? And I guess that you all both saw this very early. For me, not early. I had several accidents that changed my life. I broke my back, I lost my memory, I have several big accidents until I realized that I'm not living, I'm running. So I think that I'm doing this for helping people to learn with me. If I learn something, I'm trying to learn together. If I'm doing this podcast, like I'm very surprised and happy, and it's an honor to talk to you, because it's giving me a little bit more clicks. And I guess my audience would love to listen what you said 20 times, and maybe 20 times more in the temple in Costa Rica, and all of us going there and connecting with, because maybe we don't have so much time to do it, because this is something that in this time space we need to run as soon as possible. I don't know if you know that we are doing a meditation, global meditation every week.
No, and I didn't know.
Wow, we started 8 weeks ago. This will be our 8th, and we will do it the first time together. And we are trying to put the people in the same frequency. That is very difficult, and we are growing a little fast. We started being 100 or 200 people in the first one. In the last one was 7,500. So, and 2,000 and a half didn't do it because they were thinking that in the eclipse it's a bad idea to meditate. And it was funny because I have almost a friend that is a channeler, that it was channeling his guidance. I don't know how to say it in English, but he was channeling, and he said, this is not a good day to meditate, because maybe if you are doubting, you will receive bad energy. But if you are not doubting, it's good for you. And a lot of people in the chat were saying, yeah, he said that it's not a good day to meditate. I will not meditate, but he meditates. So it was very funny, because he was saying the voice of him channeling to him, it's not a good day to meditate. And he was meditating with us. And he said, this is when you have a choice. And you have the choice to say, hey, it's me, I decide. And if I meditate and do it for a good reason, I don't care what you said about bad energy, eclipse, whatever moving. I'm doing for myself, I'm helping people doing that. And this freedom, sometimes we don't get it going back to the technology. Because you are like this, and you are not free. You are in this loop. I'm here, right? Tell me.
No, I'm like, my soul is wants to ask Sylvie to talk us more about honor, acceptance, be receptive,
It's like
love
Honopono,
better.
right?
Huh?
Like Honopono. It's very similar, no? Thank you. Please forgive me. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you.
This was for prisons.
Ho'oponopono.
Ho'oponopono. Yeah. Wow. That's nice. I think that I will publish this tomorrow without editing. Type plug. Listen, people. So you have to say that it's amazing. Because for you, maybe it's usual, normal, but for me, it's kind of not normal. For him, yes. But for me, like I told you, we are the yin and yang, and for me, listening this kind of thing, maybe 2 years ago it was science fiction, but today is science fact, you know.
Well, Rudy has the power to share and to connect with people, and nothing happens in the life of Sylvie that is not aligned or it has a higher purpose. So,
Wow. It's amazing.
we can be very thankful.
Maybe once she had to do the meditation and we global the work, because she expressed the energy just being with us. I don't know how to say it because my mind is trying to connect with the words, but it's not easy to put words, you know. Yeah, you understand this, but not me, man. I'm learning. I'm keep learning or listening.
Sylvie, please. Acceptance. Be receptive. Love life how it is, and be receptive to our grace, because this is one of the phrases of our master Dharma Mitra says, be receptive to the grace on us and on everybody. Really, we cannot experience what we are not open to. And talking about these potential powers, we can experience this higher self if we are open and receptive. If we are open and receptive to Lord, if we are open and receptive to our higher self. How important is to be receptive?
I really want to thank you for that invitation that you have shared to me, to be with you, wonderful gentleman, in service to consciousness, to bring light on our possibility or capacity or connection. Thank you to create a world where there's more space for listening. I love you both really, really much. I'll be in Europe soon, you know that. I'll be there in July, in France, actually, from the 14th of July to the 19th. It's going to be a 6 days retreat of silence, won't be just silence. It would be partly like inner sharing connection through the collective mind, which is a new reality that we have to understand, that power of the collective mind. All of us attune to the same frequency, bring peace, and bring space, and bring opportunity to understand each other better. So I feel really, really close from both of you. And I hope that everyone that will have listened to our exchange will have get something precious for himself. So hope that we will meet soon. Maybe for meditation, maybe for global meditation, as you said, Rudy. Let's see what we will choose to create together, because we have that power to choose, to be present. So thank you for everything. Thank you for your wisdom. Thank you for your strength. Thank you to exist. I love you both.
Thank you, sister. Love you too. I'm sure that people that connects with this master now have the opportunity to come to his event in France, opening to meditation and connect. And somehow I'm sure she's gonna plant a seed of peace and love.
I'm sure, completely. She did it now. She did it now with me. I'm like little nervous, like a kid. Thank you so much.
Always.
Thank you so much.
God, thank you to you.
Thank you,
I love you
Sylvie.
both.
Wow.
Love, always infinite.
Let's see us back really soon. Namaste.
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 Om.